Karen, please do not judge on my presentation skills or public speaking skills, if you will. I'll do my best. But Mayor, nice to see you. You've probably seen part of this presentation before, so you will see some familiar slides, just so you're aware. Anyway, I'm pleased to be here. I'm going to share my screen, and I do have a couple of videos. We did test them prior. Hopefully they work during the actual presentation. And if you have any questions, we will save those till the end, and I will do my best to answer anything that comes to mind. Perfect.
There we go. Looks good.
All right, everybody can see everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good morning, members of the Clarington Board of Trade, and thank you for having me. My name is Inspector Stefanie Finateri, and I'm the officer in charge of East Division here in Clarington. Today, I will be providing you information surrounding our newly formed Community Safety Advisory Council, our Bodyboard Camera, Durham Connect, roadway safety, human trafficking, drug overdoses, mental health, Air One, and some of our recent initiatives that we've been involved in, such as the food and toy drive and our festive ride. So back in October of 2021, I assumed the responsibility of East Division here. I'm currently in my 20th year with the DRPS, and I have a background in frontline patrol, drug enforcement, recruiting, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and major crime, where I oversaw the homicide unit, our special victims unit, our domestic violence unit, our forensic identification services, our electronic crimes unit, our internet child exploitation unit, and our offender management unit. So that was quite a large portfolio for me. My vision for East Division is to ensure that the community needs are met by working together through platforms such as roadway safety, community engagement, and proactive enforcement. Staff Sergeant Dan Latisseur is the patrol services leader here at East Division, and we work together on most things. He has been a member of the DRPS for 26 years, and he has an extensive background in tactical support, explosive disposal, hostage negotiations, and our critical incident command. So I'd just like to give a recap on the East Division boundaries, because some people don't realize how big East Division actually is, and what our officers, the amount of area they actually have to cover. So we're responsible for patrolling 4 zones. Those are labeled as 61, 62, 63, and 64, as you can see on the map here. That encompasses approximately 727 square kilometers. So it's just large, and it's a lot for the officers, but they do a great job, obviously. Each zone here, so 61 zone in Curtis, that's about 44 square kilometers. 62 zone is 57 square kilometers, so that's Bowmanville area. 63, which is Newcastle, Orono, that's 341 square kilometers. And 64 zone, which is part of North Oshawa, and we actually go up into the south part of Scugog as well. That's 285 square kilometers. So those officers are driving a lot up there. So in the next slide, I'll go over the boundaries in more detail. So as you can see here on this map, our boundaries go as far north as Regional Road 19, as far east as Town Line Road, as far south as Lake Ontario, and as far west as Simcoe Street in the northern part of the zone. It continuously staggers, as you can see on the screen there, over an easterly direction all the way to Harmony Road. And we border, so East Division borders with both Oshawa and Whitby community police offices. I would like to highlight that we've established our Community Safety Advisory Council. Staff Sergeant Latisseur is the point of contact. Our first meeting did take place in November of 2021, and we do meet on a monthly basis. Currently, we have representatives from all 4 wards, and a couple representatives from DAC as well. What the Community Safety Advisory Council does is they provide information and informed advice to us here, Durham Regional Police East Division Management Team, on a variety of matters. So they help identify issues and concerns related to policing in neighborhoods. They serve as a mechanism for the reciprocal and positive exchange of information. They act as ambassadors for the promotion of positive police and community relations. And they also review issues related to roadway safety. We have a Community Safety Advisory Council at every division in the region. And obviously through COVID, it's been quite challenging, but we've been able to continue to meet on a virtual basis. So we're still able to keep this going. I'd just like to touch on body-worn cameras here. It is a hot topic of conversation here in Durham region. So just a little bit of how we got here. In 2014, the Police Services Board requested that Chief Martin investigate the use of body-worn cameras. In June 2018, a year-long body-worn camera pilot project was launched involving members of a West Division. And I was part of that team at West Division. I was the staff sergeant at the time on the shift there. So West Division did was part of the pilot, as well as our traffic services and our festive ride team at the time. In June 2019, analysis began on the data that was captured during the project, culminating in a 400-page report that was presented to the Police Services Board. In 2020, the Police Services Board granted funding and approval for the full frontline rollout of the body-worn cameras. So as a result, our body-worn camera program went live September 16, 2021. It will be rolled out in 3 phases and began with West Division, which is Ajax, Pickering, North Division, which is Scugog, Uxbridge, Brock area, and our traffic division. And then they completed their training a couple months after that began. And the second phase was here at East Division. So all of Clarington, and Central West Division, which is Whitby. That began January 2022, and I'm pleased to report that we've completed training for phase 2 of our body-worn camera program. We currently have 372 body-worn cameras in the field, and including here at East Division as well. And we're planning the timing for phase 3, which is our last phase, and we're planning the timing for that. So once that's implemented, Central East Division, which is all of Oshawa, will also be fully trained, and that will cover off all of the front line. Once the officers are trained, they are obligated by policy to carry and use the camera, and it must be in plain view of the public, which you will see here in a video I have. I'm not a subject matter expert on body-worn camera. I oversee a division that uses it. So if you do have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them later. However, if there are anything you'd like to know more in depth, there's a lot of questions on our website, or you can reach out to the body-worn camera team at the email provided on the slide you see there. So I'm going to, oh, sorry about that, see if this video will work. It worked when we tested it, so we'll have to see if it works now. All right, here we go.
In 2021, Durham Regional Police Service began the rollout of a 3-phase body-worn camera program in an effort to increase transparency and accountability within the community, as well as improve evidence collection for court proceedings. We have now completed phase 1 of the training and implementation of body-worn cameras in Ajax, Pickering, North Durham, and Traffic Services, and currently have 188 cameras in the field. In 2022, we will commence rolling out the next phase with the ultimate goal of implementing body-worn cameras in Whitby, Clarington, and finally Oshawa. With our festive ride program in full swing, we want to provide an example of what body-worn camera footage looks like to illustrate its capabilities to you, the community.
Hi, good evening, Durham Regional Police. How you doing, CBOT? How are you? Good, thank you. So we are out with Professor Bride, and we are doing mandatory alcohol screening. Okay. So I'm gonna have you pull in here. We're gonna do a sobriety test. Okay? Yeah. Come on in here. I'll move this. Yeah, you're welcome. That's great. I will take your license, please. And I'm just gonna read you something, okay? Yeah. Did a couple door knocks, Any drinking this evening? So I demand that you provide a sample of your breath into an approved screening device to enable a proper analysis of your breath to be made, and that you accompany me for this purpose. Do you understand? So I'm just gonna get, thank you. I'm just gonna get the, have you ever done a road test before? Okay. So this is what it looks like. Okay. They come in prepackaged straws. Okay. So that's yours. Okay. So it's kind of just like blowing into milk. Okay. Take a deep breath and blow until I say stop. Okay. All right. Ready? Yep. Good. Perfect. 0. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll let you out. Okay. Good job. Thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to show that video just so you can actually see how it's used in the field, and just so everybody's aware that person did provide consent for that video. This video here, this is going to kind of give you an overview, a general overview of the body-worn camera.
Starting September 2021, in a phased rollout, Durham Regional Police Service frontline officers will be equipped with body-worn cameras. The adoption of body-worn cameras enhances overall community safety, well-being, transparency, and supports quality of evidence. Here's a brief overview on how the program will work and what members of the public can expect when encountering an officer with a body-worn camera. At the beginning of each shift, officers will take their individual assigned cameras from the docking station, put it on their uniform in plain view. When arriving at a call or when an interaction with a member of the public turns investigative in nature, officers will activate the body-worn camera. On being activated, the camera will emit an audible tone and a red light will flash on the front. Officers are trained to notify the public that they are being recorded. This notice may come at different times depending on the situation. When an officer stops recording, a loud audible tone will emit from the camera and the red flashing light will turn on. At the end of each shift, officers will return their body-worn camera to the docking station, where it will charge and securely upload the encrypted audio video file to the cloud. The audio video is then securely stored and cannot be altered. Deletion of videos will only be done by authorized personnel in accordance with the DRP record and retention and purge schedules. Video that is part of an active investigation or court matter will not be deleted.
All right, moving on to Durham Connect. Durham Connect is a program we established a few years ago now, with over 100 tables in Ontario alone. Situation tables like Durham Connect exist to address situations of acutely elevated risk and then provide the appropriate community services dependent on the situation in order to mitigate the risk altogether. So Durham Connect membership contains representatives across a wide spectrum of social services, from mental health addictions, homelessness, financial insecurities, and much more. The goal of Durham Connect is to create community safety and well-being among the individuals and families across Durham region. Durham Connect began in, I think it was 2015 with 8 champion agencies and has since grown to 40 agencies across the region. Part of the Durham Regional Police Service's commitment to the program included adding the Durham Connect liaison officer in 2019. So we currently have an officer in that office, and she actually works here out of East Division. The role of the officer was to increase organizational awareness and referral rates for the Durham Connect program. In doing this, more individuals and families in our region would receive assistance when they need it the most. The goal was accomplished, and the referral rates have steadily climbed since the position was created, obviously. And to provide statistical validation on that, in 2018, there were only 9 referrals for the year across our whole organization to the table. So once we implemented the liaison officer in 2019, that number increased to 195 referrals. Then 214 in 2020, and last year a record number of 292 referrals were made across our organization. Currently, we're looking to have the best year so far. There's been 107 referrals in the first quarter so far this year compared to last year, so that's a 22% increase. Obviously, regarding our first quarter numbers. So just of note, each referral represents one person or family assisted by Durham Connect one way or another. And the following slide is a slide of current Durham Connect membership. So as you can see here, there's several agencies involved at this table. The other positive outcome is that not only can Durham Connect assist with cases of acutely elevated risk, but it can proactively deal with cases at any level of risk. The earlier referral is received, the earlier intervention of services can occur, therefore potentially preventing crisis situations. Risk mitigation and proactive reduction of identified risks are key components of the new community safety and well-being legislation, which recognizes that not one organization can fix everything. It recognizes that the community must work together in order to move away from acute and punitive action as the means for a solution to its problems. And Durham Connect helps to provide solutions by coming together and providing services. Regarding roadway safety, which I would say is the community's biggest concern, 2021 noted a general decrease in tickets issued for the 4 big killers here at the organization, but it is noted that traffic cautions issued in Clarington and East Division are up, which will be discussed further in the next slide. So when I say Clarington and East Division, I just want you all to know that East Division covers part of North Oshawa, as I mentioned in a previous slide with the maps. So we cover all of Clarington and part of North Oshawa. So that's the clarification there when you hear me say it. In addition to the big 4 killers, East Division officers have dedicated an additional 1,010 hours focusing on proactive patrols throughout the division. Throughout 2021, East Division officers conducted 7 ride initiatives at various locations throughout Clarington and East Division, resulting in a total of 702 vehicles stopped and 10 roadside demands. Our festive ride program stopped a total of 6,761 vehicles. They performed 176 roadside demands and arrested a total of 65 people, laying 228 charges. For Clarington specifically, the ride unit was set up 9 times, which resulted in 8 arrests. So specific to Clarington, in relation to motor vehicle collisions, those increased in 2021 by 9% when compared to 2020. Those resulting in injury or fatality decreased by 16% and 25% respectively. Divisionally, motor vehicle collisions increased by 5% in 2021 when compared to 2020. Collisions resulting in injury decreased by 3% and fatalities increased by 20% in 2020 to 2021. So 2020 or 20% sounds like a large number. The actual number is, it went from 5 to 6. So we had one more fatality. In terms of traffic enforcement, 2021 noted a decrease in tickets issued. However, there was an overall increase in traffic enforcement as a whole, where officers focused more of an educational component related to roadway safety, which resulted in an increase in traffic caution. So we went up 87% in traffic cautions in Clarington and 106% in total for all of East Division. I have to say that we felt like, especially during COVID, an educational component was very important. We realized people were going through hard times financially, emotionally, mentally. So, we obviously, we have discretion, and the educational component was something that we decided that was extremely important throughout this time. In regards to human trafficking, in 2020 and 2021, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, which forced many businesses to close, human trafficking continued. We saw a 16% increase in human trafficking investigations through 2020. Of the 139 investigated in 2020, 41% involved victims under 18. In 2021, there were 336 human trafficking cases being investigated in Durham region, 215 charges laid, 176 accused or suspects identified, and 312 victims assisted. Out of those 312 victims, 111 of them were under the age of 18 years old. This represents a 142% increase in investigations and a 138% increase in the number of victims identified and assisted compared to 2020. I know those are extremely large increases, but it should be noted that in 2021, as a result of these, due to these increases, we had the addition of our care unit, so children at risk of exploitation. So they focused on victims between the age of 12 to 17. And that further explains the increase in victims under the age of 18 years old. It explains those large percentage increases. So our unit expanded, therefore we were able to investigate a larger number of cases. So we don't have any Clarington specific stats for human trafficking, but I can tell you that the majority of these incidents occur in Oshawa and Whitby. However, beginning this year, we will be keeping information related to where the victim lives and where they were trafficked to and from. Pertaining to drug-related occurrences, in over half of the fatal overdose-related incidents, toxicology reports are still outstanding. So a determination if the death is opioid-related or not cannot be made. And these toxicology reports can take months to come back, which is sometimes why you don't hear about causes of death in people for several months. Potential addiction-related overdose calls for service is determined by any call for service we get that involves any drug other than marijuana and are not related to mental health breakdowns or suicide attempts. So in 2021, Clarington noted an 86% increase in potential addiction-related calls for service when compared to 2020. East Division as a whole noted 76% increase when compared to 2020. And there's been an upward trend since 2018 in relation to drug-related overdoses. Increases are across all divisions in the region, not just Clarington. In regards to mental health apprehensions are continuing on an upward trend over the last 4 years. Regionally, apprehensions have increased 23% in 2021 when compared to 2020. Specific to East Division, these numbers are higher, noting an increase in apprehensions in 2021 of 47% from 2020. We are averaging approximately 7.5 mental health apprehensions per day across the region. Mental health general occurrences are any occurrence with a mental health component, either with the Offense Code of Mental Health Act or flagged with a special study flag in our system of being mental health related. Regional occurrences with a mental health component have increased 20% in 2021 when compared to 2020. Now, specific to East Division, these numbers are higher, noting an increase in mental health related occurrences in 2021 of 27% from 2020. In Clarington alone, mental health related occurrences in 2021 have increased by 28% from 2020. And as you can see on the slide at the bottom there, roughly 9% of all general occurrences attended in East Division and Clarington end up having a mental health component compared to the 2% of calls that are indicative of mental health component in the initial call type. So often often we get dispatched to calls and it's not mental health related at all. And then by the end of the call, it ends up being a mental health related incident. So that's what I just spoke about there. Several media reports have suggested mental health as being related to the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's expected the upward trend may continue. You've probably seen some Air One footage on our social media channels recently. Air One continues to be instrumental in our continued commitment toward community safety. In 2021, Air One responded to 882 calls and assisted 118 arrests. They were involved in 154 locates, which is identifying a person or vehicle related to a call for service. In 225 of those calls, Air One was the first on scene. From a public and officer safety perspective, Air One allows us to avoid dangerous pursuits while still monitoring suspect vehicles from above. It also allows us a bird's eye view in communicating with officers on the ground. They can use heat sensors to determine where a suspect is hiding to avoid being ambushed or a surprise encounter. So this footage here happened on March 22nd this year at approximately 11:23. Members of the Oshawa Division, so Central East Division, observed a red Dodge Caravan in the area of Fundy Street and Quetico Court in Oshawa. The vehicle plates were confirmed as stolen. So our officers found the vehicle. They attempted to pull the vehicle over. However, the driver fled and failed to stop for police. So we terminated the pursuit immediately due to public safety concerns, which we most often do. However, Air One was in the area and located the fleeing vehicle in the area of Bragg Road, north of Highway 2 here in Clarington. So the stolen vehicle was pulled over and police arrested the male driver and a female passenger. So I'm going to actually play this video for you now so you can see what it would look like. You'll note in the video near the end, it does switch to our body worn camera and then back to our Air One view. So there's many different capabilities for court purposes if it's required of different angles.
It looks like the rear right of the minivan. I don't know if the window has been broken open or something. It seems like that area might have some damage or heat to it. It just went under the train bridge. Looks a little slippery right there. Still not found. Okay, yeah. Vehicle stopped on concession road 3. Looks like they're attempting a high-risk takedown.
I only see 2, but that doesn't mean there's not someone tracks down.
Looks like both are in custody. Thank you very much for the help.
So there's several videos similar to this on our YouTube page. So if you have an interest in seeing some more, you can find them there. Air One is extremely instrumental in many of our high-risk arrests. And they, like I said, they provide that bird's eye view, which really contributes to officer safety and community safety. So lastly, our 33rd annual DRPS Food and Toy Drive was a tremendous success in 2021. Thousands of families across Durham region have benefited from the generosity of everyone who donated. The Crama Cruiser events held across the region had no shortage of donations. So organizer Constable Daryl Rice of our community safety unit was instrumental in this, and he had to call for backup vehicles to help transport the donations to community organizations. So large corporate donations in Clarington were received from Phoenix International, AMD Bowmanville, co-shared with Bowmanville Salvation Army and Darlington Nuclear. Our static Crime of Cruiser events in Clarington took place at Freshco, Bowmanville, Loblaws, Bowmanville, and Canadian Tire Bowmanville. And we just recently did another Crime of Cruiser event for Easter at various locations in Bowmanville and Curtis. And for the first time ever, a student from Clarington was named the DRPS Chief for a day. Connor Friggin, a student at Charles Bowman School in Bowmanville, was selected over a number of amazing candidates. His passion for canine policing and his thoughtful essay resonated with the judges. Chief Friggin started his day on November 16, 2021 at the Police Services Board meeting before spending a jam-packed day visiting a number of our services, including canine, traffic services, forensic investigative services, and Air One. I would just like to congratulate Connor and Clarington for having a member selected. I know he had an awesome day. He was thrilled. His family was thrilled. And it was nice to see him on the Police Services Board meeting that morning. I remember it vividly. And that's all I have. Thank you very much for allowing me to present to you.